a relationship where one species benefits but the other is neither helped nor harmed. Commensalism. In commensalism, one organism benefits while the other is not affected in any way. Imagine you're hosting a casual dinner party, and one of your friends brings along a plus one you weren't expecting. This unexpected guest enjoys the food and socializes, benefiting from the event, while you, as the host, don't particularly notice their presence nor feel any inconvenience. This situation is akin to commensalism in nature, where one species, like the unexpected guest, benefits from the interaction, while the other species, like the host, remains unaffected. The place where an organism lives. Habitat. A habitat is the natural home where plants and animals live and find everything they need to survive. Imagine trying to find the perfect apartment that suits all your needs and preferences in a bustling city. Just like how you need a place that fits your lifestyle, budget, and daily routines, an organism needs a habitat that provides the right conditions for its survival, growth, and reproduction. In this analogy, the apartment represents the habitat. Your needs and preferences are akin to the organism's survival requirements, and the city is the broader environment where both you and the organism must navigate to find that perfect spot. A symbiotic relationship between two species in which both benefit. Mutualism. Mutualism is when two different species help each other out and both gain benefits from their interaction. Think about when you and your friend team up to move a heavy couch. It's a task that's challenging for one person, but manageable together. This situation is similar to mutualism, where two species work together for mutual benefit. Just like you and your friend both gain from successfully moving the couch. In this analogy, you and your friend represent the two species, and the heavy couch represents a challenge that is easier to overcome with cooperation, illustrating how mutualism allows both parties to benefit from the relationship. The role an animal or plant plays in its habitat. Niche. A niche is like a species' job or role in its environment, including how it gets food and interacts with other organisms. Imagine you are in charge of planning a big family reunion where each person has a specific task to ensure the event runs smoothly. Just like every family member has a role, whether it's bringing food, organizing games, or setting up tables, every animal or plant in a habitat has a specific role, known as its niche. The connection here is that just as the success of the family reunion depends on everyone fulfilling their assigned duties, the balance and health of an ecosystem rely on each organism performing its unique role, such as pollinating plants, decomposing organic matter, or being a primary food source for others. A symbiotic relationship where one organism benefits and the other is harmed. Parasitism. In parasitism, the parasite lives on or in a host organism, gaining nutrients at the host's expense. Imagine waking up to find that your phone battery is almost dead because an app has been running in the background all night, draining power without your knowledge. This situation is similar to parasitism, where one organism benefits at the expense of another. Just as the app consumes your phone's energy, leaving it depleted, a parasite thrives by drawing resources from its host, harming it in the process. The close relationship between organisms of different species. Symbiosis. Symbiosis is when different species live closely together and often help each other survive. Imagine trying to juggle work and home responsibilities, where both aspects depend on each other to maintain a balanced life. In symbiosis, two different species form a similar relationship, relying on one another to thrive. Just as your work life might support your home life financially, while your home life provides emotional stability, organisms in a symbiotic relationship, like bees and flowers, exchange resources or services that benefit both parties, ensuring mutual survival and growth. an interaction where one organism kills another for food. Predation. In simple terms, predation is when an animal hunts and eats another animal. Imagine you're at a crowded supermarket where everyone is trying to grab the last few discounted items on the shelf. This frantic rush to secure limited resources mirrors the concept of predation, where one organism captures and consumes another for sustenance. Just like how the aggressive shopper ensures their own need is met by seizing the last available product, a predator ensures its survival by capturing and consuming its prey, both driven by the fundamental need to acquire resources essential for survival. Populations that live in the same habitat. Community. In science, a community is a group of different species living together and interacting in the same area. Imagine trying to coordinate a big neighborhood block party where every family brings a different dish. Just like each family at the party contributes something unique to the event, different species within a habitat contribute various roles and resources to the ecosystem. Each family is like a different species, and their dishes represent the diverse roles and contributions they make to the community, ensuring the party or ecosystem is vibrant and functional. An environmental factor that limits population growth, for example, a drought. Limiting factor. In science, a limiting factor is anything that restricts the size or growth of a population. Imagine trying to make a large pot of soup, but you're running out of water. Just as your soup can't grow without enough water, a population can't grow if a crucial resource, like water, during a drought is limited. In both cases, the lack of water is the limiting factor that prevents further growth. Your soup won't fill more bowls, and the population won't increase beyond what the environment can support. Colonization of a barren land by pioneer organisms. Primary succession. Primary succession is the process where life begins to develop in an area that previously had no living organisms. Imagine moving into a brand new house with completely empty rooms where you need to start from scratch to make it feel like home. This situation is similar to the process of primary succession, where barren land is initially colonized by pioneer organisms, much like how you start by adding essential furniture to your empty rooms. Just as the first pieces of furniture create the foundation for a comfortable living space, pioneer organisms like lichens and mosses lay the groundwork for other species to thrive, gradually transforming the barren landscape into a thriving ecosystem. In an ecosystem where the community is destroyed, but the soil is not. Secondary succession. Secondary succession is the process by which a damaged ecosystem recovers, starting with existing soil and small plants growing back first. Imagine you accidentally delete an important document on your computer, but the backup of that document is still safe on the cloud. This situation is similar to secondary succession in an ecosystem where the living community is wiped out, but the soil remains intact. Just as the backup allows you to restore your document without starting from scratch, the preserved soil provides the foundation for plants and organisms to quickly recolonize and restore the ecosystem. An organism's ability to survive against unfavorable environmental factors. Tolerance. In science, tolerance is how well an organism can endure challenging conditions. Imagine trying to get through a day at work when the air conditioning is broken and it's uncomfortably hot inside. Just like you adapt by drinking more water, wearing lighter clothes, or taking breaks in cooler areas, organisms have mechanisms to survive in unfavorable environmental conditions. In this analogy, your ability to cope with the heat is like an organism's tolerance, where both involve adjusting behaviors or strategies to maintain comfort and functionality despite challenging surroundings. The deep ocean zone that never receives sunlight, aphotic zone. The aphotic zone is a part of the ocean where sunlight cannot penetrate, making it dark and unable to support photosynthesis. Imagine walking into a windowless basement and struggling to find the light switch in complete darkness. This situation is similar to the aphotic zone of the ocean, where sunlight never penetrates, leaving it perpetually dark. Just as you rely on touch and memory to navigate the basement without light, organisms in the aphotic zone have adapted to thrive without sunlight, utilizing other senses and bioluminescence to survive in an environment where light is absent. A biome with very little rainfall or plant life. Desert. A desert is a dry area where there is little water and consequently very few plants and animals can survive. Imagine you're trying to cook a meal with just a few ingredients left in your pantry. Just like this culinary challenge, a desert is a natural environment with very limited resources, specifically rainfall and plant life. In both cases, whether you're working with scarce ingredients or scant rainfall, you have to make the most of what's available to survive and thrive, highlighting how ecosystems and chefs alike innovate and adapt under constraints. An area where fresh river water mixes with salty ocean water. Estuary. An estuary is where rivers meet the sea, creating a unique and productive environment for many species. Imagine trying to mix cold and hot water in a bathtub to get the perfect temperature for a comfortable bath. This is similar to how an estuary functions, where fresh river water blends with salty ocean water. Just as you need to balance the hot and cold to create a warm, pleasant bath, an estuary balances the different temperatures and salinity levels of the two water types, creating a unique and diverse environment. A biome covered by grasses and fertile soil. Grassland. Grasslands are large, open areas where the main plants are grasses, which support many animals and help maintain the ecosystem. Imagine trying to maintain a well-organized desk amidst a busy work schedule. Just like your desk, which serves as a foundation for your productivity with its organized layout, a grassland is a biome where grasses and fertile soil create a foundation that supports diverse life. The desk represents the fertile soil, essential for holding everything in place, while the neatly arranged items are like the grasses, providing structure and resources for various tasks, much like how grasses support the ecosystem within a grassland. The shoreline between high and low tide. Intertidal zone. The intertidal zone is the area of the beach that is covered by water at high tide and exposed to air at low tide. Imagine trying to plan a picnic in a park where the available space constantly changes as people come and go. This situation is similar to the intertidal zone, where the shoreline expands and contracts with the ebb and flow of the tides. Just as you must adjust your picnic spot based on the number of park visitors, organisms in the intertidal zone must adapt to the changing conditions of exposure and submersion as the tide rises and falls, creating a dynamic environment much like the ever-changing space in a busy park. The upper ocean with sunlight. Photic zone. The photic zone is the top layer of the ocean where sunlight can penetrate, allowing photosynthesis to occur. Imagine you're in a crowded parking garage and you're trying to find a spot close to the entrance where there's plenty of light. Just as you want to park near the entrance to easily see and access your surroundings, marine life thrives in the photic zone of the ocean because it's the area where sunlight penetrates, allowing them to see and photosynthesize. In both situations, whether you're parking your car or marine organisms are living in the ocean, having access to light is crucial for visibility and energy, making the photic zone similar to the well-lit entrance areas of the parking garage. tiny microscopic organisms that float or drift in water. Plankton. Plankton are small creatures in water that form the base of the aquatic food chain, providing food for many marine animals. Imagine trying to navigate through a crowd at a busy concert where everyone is moving in different directions. Just like you might find yourself being pushed or pulled along by the flow of the crowd, plankton are tiny organisms that drift along with the currents in water. The common problem of getting swept up in a crowd mirrors how plankton are carried by water currents, as both you and plankton have limited control over your direction and are influenced by the larger forces surrounding you. An evergreen forest biome with cold winters. Taiga. The taiga is a cold forest region full of coniferous trees like pines and spruces. Imagine trying to maintain a vegetable garden throughout the year when most plants can't survive the freezing cold of winter. This is similar to how the taiga, an evergreen forest biome, thrives despite its long, harsh winters. Just as some gardeners plant hardy, cold-resistant crops that can endure the winter chill, the taiga is dominated by evergreen trees that have adapted to survive and remain green year-round, even in the freezing temperatures. These trees are like those resilient plants in your garden, designed to withstand and persist in environments where others might wither away. A gradual change in a community following a disturbance. Ecological succession. Ecological succession is the natural process where ecosystems recover and develop after a disturbance, like a fallen tree or a fire. Imagine you've just moved into a new home and the space is bare and empty. This is a bit like ecological succession, where a natural community gradually changes and rebuilds after a disturbance, such as a forest fire or hurricane. Just as you start by bringing in essential furniture and gradually add decorations, plants, and personal touches to make the house feel like home, a disturbed ecosystem begins with pioneer species like grasses and small plants, eventually developing into a complex community with trees, animals, and diverse plant life. Both scenarios involve a process of gradual change and development, building up from a simple state to a more complex and stable environment. The average weather conditions of an area over a long period of time. Climate. Climate is what you expect in terms of weather patterns over many years in a specific region. Imagine trying to figure out someone's personality by observing them only on a single day. Just like a person's true character is revealed by their consistent behavior over time rather than by their mood on any given day, the climate of an area is understood by examining its weather patterns over a long period, not just a single day. In this analogy, the single day is like a short-term weather event, while the long-term observation of mood and behavior parallels the study of climate, which requires looking at average weather conditions over many years. A treeless biome with long, cold winters and short, cool summers. Tundra. Tundra is a cold, dry region where the ground is often frozen and only hardy plants like mosses and lichens can grow. Imagine trying to host a barbecue in a parking lot where it's always either too hot or too cold. Just like that challenging setup, the tundra is a vast, treeless biome where the climate conditions are extreme, with long, cold winters and short, cool summers. In both scenarios, whether it's the uncomfortable parking lot or the harsh tundra, the environment is not conducive to certain activities, like growing tall trees or holding an enjoyable barbecue, due to the lack of a stable, moderate temperature. The atmospheric conditions at a specific time and place, like raining and cold. Weather. Weather is the state of the atmosphere at a particular time and place, including temperature, humidity, wind, and precipitation. Imagine standing in front of your closet in the morning, trying to decide what to wear based on the day's plans. It's similar to checking the weather, where you assess what's happening outside, such as rain and cold, to prepare accordingly. Just as you consider the day's events, like a meeting or a casual outing, to choose your outfit, you look at atmospheric conditions like precipitation and temperature to decide if you need a raincoat or a sweater, highlighting how both scenarios involve evaluating current conditions to make practical choices. An area of land that is periodically underwater. Wetland. Wetlands are natural areas where water covers the soil, creating a unique environment for plants and animals. Imagine trying to maintain a garden in a yard that occasionally floods after heavy rain. Just like the garden, a wetland is an area that is sometimes dry, but periodically submerged underwater. In both cases, the fluctuating water levels create unique conditions. The garden's plants adapt to both dry and wet periods, just as the flora and fauna in a wetland are specially adapted to thrive in an environment that transitions between land and water. Two species cannot occupy the same niche in a habitat at the same time. Competitive exclusion. Competitive exclusion is when one species outcompetes another for resources, leading to the latter's decline or elimination. Imagine trying to share a single chair with someone at a crowded event. Just like two people can't comfortably sit in the same chair at the same time, two species cannot occupy the same niche in a habitat simultaneously. The chair represents the niche, and the two people represent the competing species. Just as only one person can effectively use the chair, only one species can successfully thrive in a particular niche without outcompeting the other. The first species to populate an area, pioneer species. Pioneer species are the initial organisms that begin colonizing barren environments, paving the way for other species to establish. Imagine moving into a new neighborhood where no one has lived before and having to establish the first home. Just like you, pioneer species are the first organisms to move into a barren area and begin the process of creating a living environment. In both situations, whether you're setting up a house or pioneer species are colonizing new land, the initial presence creates a foundation that makes it easier for others to follow, akin to how your presence might encourage more families to settle in the neighborhood, paving the way for a thriving community. The climate within a small area that differs from the surrounding climate. Microclimate is a localized climate that can vary significantly from the larger area around it due to specific conditions like terrain, vegetation, or water bodies. Imagine trying to find a warm, sunny spot in your house during a cold winter day. Just like how that one sunny corner of your room feels noticeably warmer than the rest of the house, a microclimate is a small area with a climate that differs from its surroundings. In this analogy, the sunny corner is the microclimate, providing a unique environment within the larger, cooler climate of your home. Much like a microclimate provides a distinct weather pattern within a broader different climate zone. A dense covering formed by the leafy tops of tall trees. Canopy. In science, a canopy refers to the upper layer of a forest where the treetops form a continuous layer of foliage, providing habitat and regulating climate. Imagine you're trying to find a parking spot in a crowded parking lot with tall SUVs and trucks blocking your view. Just like the challenge of navigating this situation, a forest canopy is a dense covering formed by the leafy tops of tall trees that can obscure what lies beneath. In both cases, the obstruction of your view by something larger, be it vehicles or tree leaves, creates a shielded environment where you can only see what's directly in front of you rather than the entire picture. A tree that sheds its leaves each year, like an oak or maple tree. Deciduous. Deciduous refers to trees that lose their leaves annually to conserve resources during unfavorable seasons. Imagine cleaning out your closet at the end of each season, getting rid of clothes you no longer need or that are out of style. Just like you clear space for new, appropriate clothing for the upcoming season, deciduous trees shed their leaves annually to prepare for the changing environment. The act of discarding outdated clothes is akin to the tree dropping its leaves. Both are necessary processes to adapt to new conditions, whether it be a fresh wardrobe for you or conserving resources for the tree during winter. A tree with seed-bearing cones that keeps its needles leaves all year, like a pine or redwood tree. Coniferous trees are plants that produce cones and have needle-like leaves that stay green year-round. Imagine trying to keep your home warm during the winter without having to constantly turn on the heater. This is similar to how coniferous trees, like pine or redwood trees, retain their needles leaves all year to conserve energy and resources. Just as a well-insulated home retains heat, coniferous trees hold on to their needles, which are like tiny solar panels, allowing them to continue photosynthesis throughout the year without the need to regrow leaves each season. A warm biome with a lot of rain and lush plant growth. Tropical rainforest. A tropical rainforest is a dense, warm, and wet forest found near the equator, teeming with diverse plants and animals. Imagine trying to manage a crowded, bustling kitchen during a busy dinner party. The tropical rainforest is similar to this scenario, where warmth and moisture, like the heat from cooking and the steam from boiling pots, create an environment where everything thrives and grows rapidly. Just as the kitchen becomes a hub of activity, with ingredients and dishes multiplying under the right conditions, the rainforest flourishes with diverse plant life due to its warm temperatures and abundant rainfall, much like the constant flow of guests and food sustaining the lively kitchen atmosphere.